All right. I don't know if I fix this now or not. Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good. And you don't hear any notification or anything? No looping sounds? That was crazy. But actually, I don't know who said it earlier. I just lost the chat. It kind of reset. But whoever mentioned that it was OBS, they're right. It was OBS. And I don't know why, though. It's all fine? Good. Okay, I think we figured it out then. That was crazy. That's pretty funny, though. That was a really old stream notification I was using. I hope that everyone that was in the old one can see the new live stream now. Because I had to reset it and do another one. Do a new page for this, so... Yeah, I think what we're going to do tonight is just not stream on Twitch for now. Until I get that figured out. I have no idea what I did to cause that. But if it's working now, that's all good. Oh, I died, actually. Let's toggle God mode for a little bit here. Hey, what's up, Bang? Okay, I think it's fixed. I think we're good now. Alright, we can toggle this off. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do today is... I'm just not going to stream on Twitch for now. Until I figure that out. I'm sure I can figure it out off stream. I don't think it's that hard. It's kind of weird, though. My old Streamlabs settings had that follow notification. And because I'm capturing the audio of my desktop, not just, like, specifically the game, I think that's why it was looping. So it went off. And my actual like laptop was trying to play it back to me. And so it's just like a feedback loop is I'm guessing what happened. But yeah, I don't really need those type of old Twitch notifications anyway, honestly. So actually I want to ask you, Bang, when I started the next or when I started the stream up again, did you have to leave the page you were on and come back to a different page? Or did it re-go live for you, just hanging out in the same chat? Because I think the way it works on YouTube is that it gets turned into a VOD immediately, and then like a new stream comes up. So I don't know if you're able to just hang out in the same chat, or if you have to like refresh it or leave the room and come back or something. Because I know it doesn't work that way on Twitch. I really love these fireball attacks too. Something really cool about this mod as well is that it actually uses your dragonish skill to determine the power of the dragon. The actual model gets a little bit bigger, as does the... Yeah, you have to go to a new stream. Oh, that's unfortunate. Twitch is when you can just refresh your stream and pull it back up. Gotcha. Yeah, I hope everyone can realize that. That's hanging out in the other stream right now. That's unfortunate. I think they'll probably eventually figure it out. But yeah, they might just be hanging out there. But yeah, this mod, the Dragonish skill, actually gets some interesting use. Makes the model bigger, makes the fireball attack do more damage, and I think it even increases your top speed. You solved it? I think we did solve it, yes. I think I created like a infinite feedback loop on my own OBS. Because I capture the desktop sound. Dragon Rider Targaryen, yes. It is pretty cool now. With Dragonriding as an option, we can, Hey, Jord. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I was just mentioning to someone else, like, I wonder how many people are hanging out in the old stream chat from the last video because I had to start a new one. I wonder if there's a way I could have restarted that stream without starting a new one. Yeah, I think you were exactly right with the OBS thing, actually. I think I created like a feedback loop, and then I didn't know how to mute it. And I actually still don't know how to mute it. But when I just restarted OBS, it stopped playing. So I think when this stream is done, I'll figure out how to go back to my Streamlabs and deactivate all my Twitch alert sounds. And then for the next stream tomorrow, which I'll probably stream tomorrow also, we will be able to dual stream, I think. It should be okay now. They got notifications, so it should head over shortly. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll wait a little bit longer, then we'll show off some of the Druid spells. There's a lot of nice classics in that, and a couple different wild shape forms, which is really cool. And the timing's perfect, of course, because the Druid won the poll, which was actually pretty surprising for me. At one point, the Nomad... yeah, at one point the Nomad was really ahead, so I was kind of expecting that to win. Can you be stopped, like, on the horse? Yeah. To not get the flapping sound, though, like I have right now, you actually have to hold the, like, descent button, which is a little weird, because even walking, you'll still hear... Oh, actually, I'm not... Yeah, there it is. Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe you don't have to hold it. But yeah, the ground movement's kind of nice, too, with this. Pretty fast. Faster than a horse, of course. And the tilting's kind of fun. Now we can relive everyone's favorite season of Game of Thrones. Breathe fire down on the townspeople. This townsperson just resisted. Yeah, so I think, what's it called? Yeah, we're just gonna ditch the Twitch stream for today. I assume that's him gliding while you were on it. You mean this guy here? I'm gonna pop the chat out again real quick just so I can, what's it called here? Dragons breathing fire always look painful to me. It actually sounds painful with this dragonling sound effect. Oh right, yeah, it's a glide. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Oh, were you the one that suggested it? I was just saying when I first started... Oh, whoops, I got attacked by the guards here. I was just mentioning that I forgot who had mentioned it to me, but yeah, I immediately tried it out, the mod, and it's awesome. It is absolutely insane. And I love how it's not just a dragon mount. There's a lot of other little cool things that the mod author added to this, including these light pillars that you can see in the background, which they actually look pretty nice, like visually, but they help notify you of like any sort of point of interest nearby. Usually, I think the yellow ones are towns or cities, the red ones should be dungeons. So it's kind of an interesting alternative way to explore this map, because it's actually a little different than just simply pressing the world map. Like, yeah, this is one way you could figure out where you are and where you're headed, but you're not supposed to be able to see dungeons on this map, right? Unless you've discovered them, or except for very like specific examples like cemeteries and crypts and graveyards you could usually see. But I'm not sure. Maybe this this mod also lets you see dungeons that you haven't actually discovered yet. Oh, what I meant was you're traveling super fast on the horse and you got stopped by enemies. Does it work the same on the dragon? Oh, you mean like with travel options? I don't think this works with travel options at all right now. If it did, that would be really surprising. Like if I click on this and click on a location, let's try it actually, and then go like this. Actually, maybe it does. No, it doesn't. Okay. So it doesn't actually work that way. Hi mate, have you tried the 640 by 400 retro mode then? Yes, I did try it, and I think it looks good. I'm just so used to the setup I have now that, yeah, I just feel like this probably still works best for me. But I thought it looked good still. You can make them just white if you want, so it's still a mystery. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good idea, actually. When you're in some locations where there's a lot of stuff around you, it's actually very pretty, all the light effects. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know if I would always want it on or not, but yeah, it's a nice option. The visual pillar of light is better to me than the guided path like in Oblivion and Skyrim. Yeah, I think so too, actually. It looks really nice at night as well. Can you show how you go up? Yeah, sure. So the way it works, if I didn't have my dragon here, you can press your travel option here, and you'll have a new option on the bottom, which is dragon, as long as you've acquired it. You'd acquire from an Akatosh quest, or you can find it off the corpse of dragonlings sometimes, and you can also find it in alchemy shops. Very rare chance. In the highest quality alchemy shops, yeah. But once you choose it here, you'll go on it, and then you can just go up by pressing your jump button. And right now I'm in hover mode. So hover mode, you can turn really easily. And then once you press shift and forward, you'll go into flight mode. So now I got wider turns, and I can move a lot faster. Oh, can you try doing it while flying? Yeah, okay, let's try doing it while we fly here. Looks like I just dismounted on my own dragon there. It's kind of interesting, though. That would be very cool. Could you imagine this dragon mode plus travel options? The thing is, the dragon already moves pretty fast, so I don't know if it's really necessary, but it would be cool. I bought this game in 1996 at Comp USA in a hollow foil box. That's awesome. How's it going, Dog Afraid? Yeah, that's really cool. I wish I had a physical copy of this game, but I don't want to spend like $200, $400 for it, but yeah, it would be sick to have a physical copy. I think travel option worked with the Dragonride mod when I pressed WASD while fast traveling. Oh, interesting. So you think I could choose a location here. Let's choose this. Oh, I think you're right, actually. I think this is moving me faster. Let's try to go even faster. Oh, yeah, it definitely does work. You just have to control the movement yourself, but it does work. Oh, that's really interesting. So it doesn't happen automatically. Interesting. I wonder if that's intentional or if it's just sort of a side effect of the way the mod works. I think if it was actually compatible with travel options, I think the mod author probably would have mentioned that in the Nexus page. But yeah, it is possible. You can make it work. Yeah, it definitely moves fast. It's definitely working. Daggerfall, How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, I love how many cool role-playing options this adds to the game now. I mean, there's so many things you could do with this. I'm gonna bug them on Nexus. 1996, I remember vividly, spent the summer delivering newspapers, saving up every penny and anticipating for the game's release in fall. I've never regretted a purchase so much as I did back then. Oh yeah? Was it too buggy or something? I've heard that the original release is extremely buggy. I feel like $5 shareware CD-ROMs is probably even before my time. I'm going to comment on it later and ask if they can patch. I saw they mentioned patching yells slow. Nice, yeah. That would be cool. Can you show how high up you can fly? Yeah, sure. Let's check that out. Is there different colors for the dragons? Not for the actual model itself, but you can do something else here, which is pretty cool. So if you want to customize your dragon a little bit, you can get off. And when you dismount, he'll be hanging out next to you. You can change your mode. So let's choose dialogue. And then you can talk to your dragon, tell him to follow you, wait here. But then you can also give him a gem. I have no gems right now, but as you can see, if I shoot, it's fireballs, right? Let's open a shop here, open shop alchemist, and let's look for a gem. None on that one. If you find a gem, you can give it to your dragon. And depending on the type of gem, it'll change the type of magic he shoots. So it won't be a fireball anymore, it'll be something else. So for example, like a sapphire. Not spawning any gems right now. But if I had gotten like a sapphire, then it turns it to ice, I believe. And I think emeralds turn it to like a poison gas. I'm pretty sure. And there's actually another one too. I forgot. I was testing it when I was doing the mod showcase video. These ambers and turquoises and jades don't work. It needs to be like actually a proper gem, which are kind of rare, I'm guessing, because this alchemy shop doesn't want to spawn them. Alchemy shops definitely sell them though. I've gotten them from there before. Okay, here's a ruby. So if I take the ruby, but ruby's going to turn it to fire, so you won't see a difference. And a diamond, okay. So let's take this off our character here. We can go into dialogue mode, give him a gem. See, there's ruby and diamond now. If I give him the diamond, it says on top that it changes his magic or his powers or something. And yeah, you can see this is now, a diamond is lightning, it looks like. So there is some customization you can do. All right, let me catch up on chat real quick. Is there different colors? Yeah, I'll show you how high we can fly up in a second. Let me just catch up on the chat. The original game ran like a dog on our family computer. The game is a treasured object on my shelf today, but back then I couldn't even play it. That's crazy. Yeah. I think one of the most awesome parts of the Unity version of this game is just fixing all of those bugs, making it run amazingly. I love New Vegas, and one day I can't wait to build a computer so beefy that I can put so many mods on it and just totally upgrade and change the game. Yeah, that's going to be the first thing I do when I get my new gaming PC as well. Just mod these games like crazy. That's cool, yeah. There's some cool different options you have for customizing it. I always thought it'd be cool to add Thooms to Daggerfall when you have a high dragonish skill, but this mod adds a lot of value to it as well. That is a really cool idea, actually. And I have not ever thought of that, but yeah. Alright, let's see how high we can fly up here. I'm assuming it's really high. Yeah, and I think these little marks on the map look pretty nice, right? They're actually very pretty, and they're not too distracting, in my opinion. But yeah, having the different colored ones, I'm guessing blue means it's like a temple town or some kind of shrine. I'm guessing red is for dungeons, and yellow, I guess, is towns and cities. But yeah, we can go really high up here, actually. I'm not sure what the limit is, but this is basically as high as you'd want to go, I'm guessing. Let's toggle God mode here so I don't die when I fall down. When you crash, you do take some damage, and you'll be dismounted. And you get a little notification up there. Let's use some light source here. I saw on Discord that people were offering to make custom renders / textures for this mod. That's very cool. Yeah, I can imagine that you could do a lot of cool things with dragons. Or even change it to things that aren't dragons, like Griffin or something else like that could be really cool. Man, look at the sky right now. Looks awesome. But yeah, the hovering works really well. And it's a little bit easier to hover when you're in combat. If I run into like any kind of fort or keep or bandit camp, I'll try to fight something. But yeah. One thing I couldn't get to work is the yawing. That's like when you do a barrel roll, I think, or something like that, basically. And I saw on the Nexus mod screenshots, it was definitely working for the mod author. They had some screenshots of it, but I can't get it to work for me, actually, with the... Maybe it's only in hover mode? Nah. Maybe I was too young, but bugs in games didn't bother me back then. Just amazed me such things were possible and working at all in the first place. Yeah. Yeah, I was probably the same way back then. I didn't actually play Daggerfall in its original early release years, though. View distance is so cool, going dark time in game now. Yeah. Yeah, it looks amazing. Recently discovered Devilspire Falls. It's a Daggerfall clone with Kingsfield atmosphere and very deep systems, made by one guy. It's incredible. I'm deeply enamored with it. That sounds sick. I've heard the name of Devilspire Falls. I've heard that game before. I've never played it. I think someone else recommended it to me recently. Maybe even in one of the streams that I did a week ago or so. But yeah, I actually like Kingsfield a little bit too. It's been a while since I played any Kingsfield games, but Ancient City on PlayStation 2, I have good memories of that game. I saw the mod author on your last video say you can barrel roll. Yeah, I'm supposed to be able to. I'm not exactly sure how to do it, though. The mod page said I can yaw. I think yaw is what it's called. With the A and D keys, but it just makes me tilt instead of actually doing a full barrel roll. Are you the Druid that falls in Morrowind and dies? Man, I need to play Morrowind so I can understand the Morrowind jokes. I really should have just stuck with that playthrough last year when I was trying it out. I wish I did, but I ended up going back to Daggerfall, and then... yeah, I never went back to that playthrough, but I want to try it again this year. We'll definitely go back to Morrowind this year at some point. Alright, I just want to see if I missed any other comments up here. If I miss anything you guys say, by the way, just feel free to retype it. You can always resend me the same message, no big deal. If I didn't respond, I probably just missed it. I'm gonna literally make a whole list for the author of asks. Double tap right on WASD. Double tap left and right while flying. Yeah, double tapping doesn't seem to be working for me. Maybe in flight mode? Oh, you're right. Oh, that's crazy. Wow. That is sick. Okay, now we got it figured out. Thank you. That is awesome. This is pretty cool for, what's it called? Like any sort of air-to-air combat. Almost makes you feel like you're playing like Star Fox or something. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that. Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense. The way I thought it worked was that you could just tilt and be upside down. You know, like how I'm upside down here? I just thought you could completely turn that way freely, like slowly. But it is like a barrel roll. Yeah, this mod is so sick. It was you? Okay. I really like how when you float down, there's a lot of like momentum to it, so you get this sort of like interesting up and down movement here when you're actually in flight mode. It's a little hard to control, and I like that about it because it's not like snappy. It actually feels like how a dragon should probably be moving. All right, now we know how to do a barrel roll. That's cool. And it's only in flight mode. Okay, makes sense. I'd love to take back Morrowind's graphics to Daggerfall. I just love the old graphics. Yeah, I definitely prefer these graphics as well. I didn't really mod Morrowind that much, though, so I don't know what other options were there for like the visual aesthetic, but with just base game graphics, I definitely prefer Daggerfall, personally. Though I thought Morrowind still looked pretty good, in my opinion. Druid spells equals Druid maxing. Yeah, we're going to be Druid maxing really hard in the next playthrough. If you guys didn't notice, oh, interesting. Purple is for this farm, I guess? Is this a farm? Yeah, if you guys missed it, the Druid won the poll for the next playthrough. So that is what we'll be going with, which is cool. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I honestly would have been happy with any of the three. I liked all the ideas. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Druids, and I have not had a chance to really make a Druid and play it on this channel. Partly because I felt like I couldn't find the right mods to really capture the class fantasy the way I like it. And now we finally have a really talented mod author that's working on it, which is awesome. And Taraba Ninja in the chat, you can see him. He's working on Druid mod at the moment. One of my first original Xbox games that I played was Morrowind. Nice. Yeah, Morrowind, I mean, I was young, but not that young, I guess, when it released. But yeah, I just missed that for some reason. I didn't pick it up back then. I wish I did. I wish I picked up both Daggerfall and Morrowind, you know, closer to their release years. But still glad I eventually found Daggerfall, of course. I did play other older games like Diablo 2 I really liked. Neverwinter Nights, of course. Love Druids? Yeah. It's definitely my favorite sort of classic fantasy class option in most RPGs. I have it, I played it a lot, but I find that Devilspire Falls just scratches the same itch that Daggerfall does and expands upon it. The crafting, spell system, and rituals are just 10. Alright, you guys are getting me pretty intrigued over here. If it's that similar to Daggerfall, then yeah, I might have to try it out. Barony has a great Druid class in Shaman. Interesting. I really like the Druid in Neverwinter Nights. I'm so hyped to see you play a Druid. What really wonders be how you will build one and what kind of aesthetic your character has. Equipment-wise, I personally like Alteration, Blunt Weapon, and Animal Taming. I actually think that is the plan for all of my primary skills. I'm probably going to go... I might go Restoration instead of Alteration for one of the primary, and then Alteration will be in the major skill. But definitely Animal Taming has to be a primary skill in my eyes. And Blunt might also be in the major skill, not the primary skill. So I'd probably go Animal Taming, Alteration, Restoration for my primary. Yeah, I'm going to build some cool restrictions on myself as well. I plan to not let myself use like specific lightning spells indoors. But I'm also going to build a spell that's extremely powerful outdoors with a really wide area of effect for lightning. So it's almost like I'm calling lightning from the sky. But yeah, I kind of, I always think about Druids as very close to Clerics. What about Battle of the Spire? I think that's an Elder Scrolls game. I think I've heard of that as well. I've never played it, I've never tried it. But, yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I actually watched a video on it. I forgot what was the channel I was watching. Let's rest, actually, real quick. Let's make it daytime so we can see a little bit better. And what time is it right now? Okay, let's just sleep like 13 hours. Instead of summoning animals, you tame them. That's so cool. Yeah, I prefer that, actually. I think it's a really cool vibe. I think both can work. and both definitely fit the Druid. But for Daggerfall, you run into so many wild enemies that I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's make our escape on the dragon here. I also wanted to scope out which regions would be best for the Druid playthrough. Battlespire is an interesting game, very linear. Yeah, I remember I did watch a video on it once. I don't remember that much about it, though. The night box is so pretty, yeah. Yeah, I do love the night boxes. I love Dynamic Skies mod. I just think that's one of the coolest mods in the game right now. For really building up the, what's it called? That nighttime Daggerfall atmosphere, that's so awesome. Yeah, for the Druid playthrough, the way it's going to work is we're going to stick to one region for the entire playthrough. So that means we won't be able to leave whichever region we choose. And I kind of want to scope out some regions here and see which one might be best for that. I don't want it to be too big, so I wouldn't choose a place like Rothgarian Mountains. And I want it to be in High Rock. So we're not going to go to Hammerfell for this playthrough at all. And I've been meaning to try a playthrough where I'm just stuck to one specific region. And you get a lot more familiar with it. And you can kind of keep it a little simpler for traveling as well. But it really fits into what we're doing with the Druid playthrough, where I don't have the exact details figured out yet, but generally what I'm going to try to do is basically clear out all of the undead and unnatural enemies that exist on the map. You can stay in a dungeon or jungle region. Yeah, there are some cool ones down here as well for the jungle. It's definitely an option. I was thinking High Rock for Druid just because of Breton, but we could also go jungle. Wasn't it planned as a Daggerfall DLC at first? Oh, that's interesting. Man, I wonder how much that would have changed Daggerfall if there was a DLC like that added to it. Are there any mods for homesteading and talking to friends and people and doing tasks, etc.? There is the Decorator mod, of course, for building up your home. There is the there's the Landlord mod, which kind of could maybe give you a similar vibe. When it comes to talking to friends and people, there is the Bellwind Companion mod, where she'll walk around with you, and she has some things to say. What's really cool about that mod, that kind of gives you a companion feeling, is she will occasionally just send you a letter. Like, oh, it's, hope you've been well, hope you're safe, I'm laying low, or whatever I'm doing, and you'll get different kind of letters from her, which is pretty cool. Also from the other companion that's part of that mod. I can't think of his name. There's one female, one male. Yeah, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, though. Yeah, I think Battlespire was supposed to be an expansion at first. That's pretty cool. Ooh, we found a little fort here. We could try to fight it with our dragon. Let's take off God mode here. Redguard was an interesting game. Set up the Dwemer Ruin style in Morrowind. Yeah, Redguard I actually kind of want to play. I know it's a lot different than a lot of the other Elder Scrolls games, but I've heard interesting things about it. And I'm just kind of curious. You find something unusual in your path. This is from the new version of Warm Ashes. So you get these encounters when you find like a fortress or a stronghold or something, or keep, I should say. And then you can try to siege it, and they'll keep spawning a couple different enemies. It's pretty cool. If the dragon attack noise gets a little too grating, definitely let me know, and I'll stop doing combat for a bit. Redguard was alright. The comics for it was peak, though. Interesting. Comics as in... is that in-game comics, or is that something outside the game? Love letter from Becky, yeah. Yeah, the character kind of is... It does feel kind of like a romance, but it's like not really a romance also. Battlespire was originally going to be a DLC for Daggerfall. Man, that would have been interesting, how that would have changed the history of this game. The enemy is surprised by your prowess. They call for reinforcements. Yeah, eventually these can actually spawn dragonlings, which is really fun. You get some aerial combat when that happens, which I like. But, yeah, these ground enemies really stand no chance. So this is just like a fun power fantasy mob, of course. And the lightning is a pretty cool fit for this purple dragon, I gotta say. I might like this better than the fire. And we can fly around a little bit in faster speed. I like how you can immediately shift from this into your hover mode by just hitting back and shift, which is cool. Parasocial from a vampire, yeah. I thought the letters was a really, really cool detail, though. I actually didn't realize that was a thing when I made the mod showcase video for it. That was one of the first mod showcase videos on my channel, so it's been a long, long time. And my videos were kind of rough back then. But I think when I had originally covered that mod, I had no idea that she could send letters like that. It's pretty cool. These archers are actually kind of hitting us. I'm on a pretty weak character right now. I think I'm on this test druid. Yeah, level 7? Okay. Let me catch up on chat a little bit. The enemy jumping at you is kind of cool. Yeah, that's from a mod called Killer Instincts. It adds a couple different combat behaviors to the game, including charge attacks, and that's what you're seeing when they try to vertically charge at me. It looks like a little bit of a leap. The original plans for the Elder Scrolls after Daggerfall would have been my #1 game. Oh yeah, what was the original plan? I don't know if I've heard of this before. I honestly find it so fun to fly to city. It's much better than fast travel. Yeah, it is really cool. Have you been doing that with the airships mod originally, before this Dragon Rider came out, or are you just talking about with the Dragon Rider mod? Love them all, though. Doing a great job. Thanks, yeah. I think this encounter got a little bugged out here. Or one of the enemies is like clipped somewhere. Usually it would spawn the next wave, which sometimes has dragons, so that would have been cool to see. I showcased that a little bit in my video. Yeah, I wonder if I should redo those old mod showcase videos. Just because the mic quality was really kind of poor back then as well. Honestly, my mic quality still isn't that good. But it was really bad in the beginning. Video's just fine, thanks. Yeah. Oh, here she is, probably. This is who was missing. Maybe not, actually. I did it with airship before, but it is much better with a dragon. Yeah, for sure. I like the airships mod, but I didn't really use it that often, I'll be honest. I thought one really cool thing about the airships mod that I liked was I loved how you could see other people in the world traveling on them. So you could just be in a city or town and just see one fly right past you, which I thought was really fun and a nice touch. Alright, I think it's time to show off some of these Druid spells real quick. And, yeah, these are really sick. So we got bear skin, spider skin, rat skin, bat skin, fish skin, entangle, and spore bloom. And part of why I really love this is that I kind of struggle to find custom spell mods. I think I mentioned earlier, I think it's hard to code or something with like the original thing makes it a little difficult to do, I heard. But you can look up the OG devs talk about it. If I remember correctly, it would have been like Dwarf Fortress style generation with co-op. Wow, that is extremely different. With co-op as well. That is really interesting. That was the original plan for Elder Scrolls after Daggerfall? Wow. I guess Battlespire was supposed to be a massive dungeon expansion for Daggerfall. Ah, gotcha. Okay. That could have been cool still. I'd imagine we'd have a lot more assets then. More unique dungeon designs, maybe. That could have been really interesting. Reminds me of the Magic Carpet games. SM7B with a good single board. Oh yeah, I have no idea what that means. Just a much more complex and system-heavy Daggerfall. That's so interesting. Yeah, as you can see here, this bearskin gives you the third-person mode here. And there's a slight movement change like this to signify when you have your weapon out and when it's not out. So I can do normal attacks like this. There's some variations here. We can also sprint. We can jump. And it actually gives us like a proper wild shape form, which is really sick. And you can scroll in a little bit, of course. Ah, that's how you can improve your microphone. No, you're good. No need to apologize. I see what you're saying. Okay, SM7B. With a good single port D8. I'm going to take a screenshot of that and then I'll look it up. But yeah, this has some timed duration here. And yeah, there's a couple different forms, then you pop out. It has its own like attribute adjustments as well, of course. And uses the alteration magic school. And then there's also Entangle, which is really cool. So it's like a ranged area of effect spell. And if I spawn some enemies here, let's spawn like a mage. If I cast this around their feet, it brings up the thorns like that, a little Entangle. They get kind of stuck, and it does some damage. Let me put God mode on real quick. But yeah, you can kind of trap these enemies like this. So this is really nice crowd control. And actually, it looks really, really good, the animation on this. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I actually really like this. I was starting to think that custom spells like this, I mean, they're so rare to find on Nexus that I was just wondering that maybe they're not really possible. And I know that they generally have to use this sort of animation. They all kind of use this projectile-looking animation. But yeah, I think it looks great. You can also hurt yourself with it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And there's also a Spore Bloom spell here that puts a little mushroom up. And this will poison nearby enemies. Or I don't know if it poisons them, but it does maybe poison damage? I'm not exactly sure if it poisons. Maybe I can pacify her and check her status. Nah, it doesn't tell me. But yeah, it does a little bit of damage like this, and a pretty cool little effect like that. And I think both these are a really perfect fit for druids. Having that kind of crowd control is nice. Kind of like classic D&D spells, especially this Entangle. I'm also going to build some lightning spells for myself for the playthrough. Man, I miss you convincing people to work with you. I always wondered why you didn't armor your followers you got at bandit camps. Yeah, actually, weirdly enough, I feel like I was not that knowledgeable about the language skills overhaul mod. Because there was a couple things I didn't realize how they worked. And I did not even know I could equip them with stuff, actually. Which is kind of silly. But yeah, I didn't realize that. I also don't know why. I think there was something I did that messed it up, or maybe I have some other kind of... yeah, you got a flying form here as well with the bat form, which is really nice. But I couldn't get them to restore their health when I rested, even when I changed the setting in the mod setting. So I'm not sure what I was doing wrong there either. But because my followers couldn't actually heal ever, they were just always dying. It was kind of a shame. But I know the setting exists in the actual Moz setting. I toggled it off, and then I tried toggling it on. I tried it with both, and I couldn't heal when I was resting. Couldn't heal my followers. But yeah, this is cool, right? Like a flying form like this, it works really well. It controls nicely. And I really like the idea of the Druid having a couple different forms here that are really kind of focused on utility. So the bat, of course, is really good when you need to levitate if I was in a dungeon or something like that. And spider skin is also really cool because... Oh, I can't show you here, actually. Spider skin's really cool, too, because it lets you freely climb obstacles. So I can show you that as well. Or surfaces, I should say, like vertical surfaces. Weren't you guys talking about this Druid mod just last weekend? Dude works fast. Yeah, he works super fast. I think he first mentioned it to me when I was streaming on my last stream. So yeah, it's such an awesome mod too. I feel like it works so well. What is the Druid spell mod called? I'm not sure what the mod author is going to name it yet. It's not out yet. I think he's still working on some things. I know he fixed a lot of the bugs already, but yeah, he's working on it, I think, still. But yeah, with the spider skin, you could just freely go up surfaces like this. How cool is this? You don't have to check your climbing skill at all. You just climb on surfaces freely. So it's really cool for these different wild-shaped forms to have a bunch of different utility options. I really like that. You can jump off it. You can press Unsheath to inspect each form from 360 degree. Oh, interesting. Oh, nice. Yeah, that works perfect. Okay. That'll help me with some thumbnails as well. Is this better than having to climb up the way you normally do using this new spider skin? Well, got that answered? Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't... It just bypasses your climbing check. That's what it feels like, at least, which is really nice. And is really good and really fits well for a Druid because I'm not going to be that athletic or that powerful, like physically, so my normal climbing won't be that strong. But yeah, we'll have this spider form for that. I think when there's like slight things jutting out, I can't get around it, but that'll basically never be a big deal in a dungeon. And surfaces like this, I should still be able to get up. Yeah, no problem there. Do you use the Sphincter Vision mod that mess with all the attributes? I actually don't. I actually really meant to try out more of his mods, especially the combat one. I know it makes like a ton of changes. I think there's so many changes, that's why I never got around to like properly trying it out. But I think it's called Sphincter Vision Attacks. Is that the mod? I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And that adds a bunch of interesting changes, but yeah, I think I installed it one day and then just didn't really spend that much time trying it out for some reason. But it looked like a really nice mod. And I think some of those changes a lot of people would prefer, honestly, from how vanilla Daggerfall handles combat. Especially the option to toggle. And I was just talking to someone in my comment section about this the other day. They were mentioning how they really don't like the hit checks in Daggerfall, where visually it looks like you're swinging at an enemy, but you just miss all your attacks. And I think for some people that could be kind of like a frustrating gameplay experience. Personally, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm kind of used to that from like older D&D style games, of course, that had that kind of system. But yeah, I think Sphincter Vision Attacks has a toggleable option where you just, instead of missing, you'll just do the minimum damage, which I think is a good option for some people that don't like that style of gameplay. Do you? Oh yeah, I show that. I think I use Sphincter Vision actually. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know which one Sphincter Vision is. Messes with all the attributes. I can't think of that off the top of my head exactly what it does. It's good to know the spider cannot climb up these house ledges. I didn't know that. Yeah, it looks like any kind of slightly jutting out surface like that, I think stops the spider. Yeah. There's the attacks, the Battle of the Wills, and the one that buffs the luck skill. Interesting. Yeah, I know the attacks one. I like these little sounds too. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I don't know if I have the game volume up loud enough, but the spider sounds good. And I think I didn't show the rat, but we got the rat as well. With classic Daggerfall rat sounds. And the bite attack. And we have a fish skin. I actually turned off the Iliac Puddle No More at the moment just because of a little bit of lag I was having, but I still could test this probably somewhere nearby if I fast fly real quick. Yeah, this looks like it's a surface. So I won't be able to actually go underneath the water, but you don't have to go underneath the water for this to work. It still works in a anything I think that should trigger actual water. But yeah, if I had Iliac Puddle No More, I think I should be able to dive into the water with this fish skin. I'd imagine it should work just fine. I didn't test it though, but yeah, this is really cool though. The rat is friendly with other rats and detects loot. Oh, that's sick. I didn't realize it was friendly with other rats. That's actually really cool. Is the rat the only form that's friendly with other animals of the same type? Because I did not realize that, actually. Yes, at the moment? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think my favorite right now is Entangle, because this is just such a classic Druid spell. Basically, in every single game that you can be a Druid, you can get some kind of Entangle spell. And I like having big crowd control options outdoors for Druids. I think it fits them really well. If you commit crimes in forms, you get away with it. That's an interesting question. No, you still get punished. I tried it with all forms. There's something about these low-res graphics. They allow your brain to fill in the blanks. With modern games, there's not a lot of room for imagination. Yeah, I think so too. I also just think that, especially with Daggerfall, it's just the aesthetic itself. I don't even know if it's necessarily the low-res for me, which I think still looks great, and I do think it helps kind of give the player some room to use their imagination. But just something about the actual art style and aesthetic itself just really is a nice vibe for me. I have been noticing recently, I think that the visual mods that sort of turn Daggerfall into like a dark fantasy look are becoming pretty popular. I've seen a couple other YouTubers covering them now, and I think people are really enjoying that aesthetic. And I think it does look good, actually. And I think it's from, I guess it's like a combination of using Dream and maybe a few other, I mean, it's definitely a combination of a couple different visual mods. I'm not exactly sure how people get that aesthetic, but yeah, I think it looks good also, but I just prefer this low-res graphics with this aesthetic specifically. But I don't always like this, though, I would say. I do think Daggerfall has a unique look that just meshes well with me, personally. Getting a little lag here. So you can't be a thief rat. That honestly would be pretty cool. You can be a thief rat, but you have to run fast. Modern games have so much random clutter. Yeah, I can see that. I feel like they have a lot of like heavy particle effects, saturation. Yeah, I kind of like that the spell effects in Daggerfall are pretty mild. Of course, I think there's room for a little bit more variation and visual difference, I guess. But I kind of like that they're not really, I don't know, really explosive or clutter the screen too much and all that kind of stuff. The aesthetic is more traditional D&D look, like the front pages of old D&D rulebooks. The look is really only found in From Software games now. Yeah, I quite like retro fantasy artwork. I have like a huge folder on my laptop of some of the more like notable fantasy artists like Clyde Caldwell, Larry Elmore, Boris Vallejo, Keith Parkinson, and John Howe. There's a lot of cool retro fantasy artists that I really love. And I tend to look for that aesthetic when I play games in general. It's like my favorite look. That's sort of like early 90s retro fantasy artwork. You see it on things like EverQuest, and all sorts of just old fantasy art. But yeah, I love that aesthetic. I always look for modern games that try to capture that. Hard to find, of course, but yeah. It's a pretty timeless aesthetic, in my opinion. I've always ran the game through that render application and added CRT and saturation effects. That's cool. In retro mode. Yeah, I haven't really tried that. But that sounds awesome, actually. Someone was mentioning in the Unity settings to try the 640, I think, or 640 by 400. I forgot what he said. But I'm so used to how I set up Daggerfall for myself when I first started playing that I just kind of like the way it looks here. But yeah. How high can you fly vertically? Really high, actually. We could test it here. You basically can go... I mean, I don't know what the limit is, but yeah, it's really high. Let's see if we can soar up and just see how high we can go. Yeah, super high. I think I only have terrain distance on 2 out of 4 right now. So you kind of can't see that far, which is intentional for me, just because travel options might lag a little bit if I have my terrain distance on the max, especially in like the very mountainous regions. But yeah, really high. It's a shame it's been ruined by the popularity of WoW and the influx of shonen anime. Yeah, I do feel like that retro fantasy aesthetic is just like really hard to find, in my opinion. If you guys played like Might and Magic, those cover arts really capture the aesthetic I like. Really hard to find that stuff in like modern games, I'd say. Of course, Daggerfall's cover art was also really cool for its time. A little different than the sort of like retro fantasy aesthetic I'm thinking of, but still really cool. Keith Parkinson did a really awesome Diablo 2 like key art piece as well. That was amazing. But yeah, I do miss that visual identity, I guess I could call it. It's pretty cool that you could just do your like air dash perfectly vertically like this. Still no Frazetta looking barbarian game, sad days. Yeah, that's another one. I'm trying to think which region is best for a Druid playthrough. There was someone talking to me about how some of these regions are actually, with the World of Daggerfall project, they're actually like haunted, or they're meant to look haunted. I think it might have been... I don't know which one it was. I know this is like a swampy location. It might have been Phrygius, or it might have been Ykalin, however you pronounce this. Let's check out some of these regions, actually. Where am I, actually, right now? I'm in Northmoor. I'm not well. I must have got diseased or something. Yeah. Actually, let me show Spellmaker. I'll just make a cure disease and cure poison. I don't think it actually matters with toggle god mode on anyway, but let's see here. Have All Might and Magic, World of Zine introduced me to RPGs. I love 7 the most. Yeah, actually 7, I recently got it. I guess it wasn't that recently, but I haven't actually played it. But I played through Might and Magic 8, and I thought that was awesome. But 7, I already really, really like the art style. I think it looks amazing. It's kind of similar to how 8 looks as well, but I think the characters look a little bit better. And I like the intro. I did play the intro. I just played a little bit of like that dragon... Was it like a dragon egg search or like some kind of competition that you start off in, which was cool. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to play Might and Magic 7. Do you remember if Might and Magic 7 also has that card game from Might and Magic 8? I don't know if you remember off the top of your head. It would be cool to see the Might and Magic 6 and 7 dungeons in Daggerfall. Oh yeah, that would be so sick. Alright, we're cured now. Yeah, I don't actually know the dungeons in 6 and 7, but I know them in 8, and I thought they were pretty good in 8 as well. 8 is too easy / simplified from 7? Interesting. Yeah, I played the intro to 7. I thought it was really nice. I didn't find 8 too difficult, I'll be honest. I think you're right about that. I didn't think it was that hard. It was my first Might and Magic game, so I wasn't that familiar with everything. But, and I chose a Minotaur as my main character. I chose that because I thought it was really unique and cool, but I heard later that Minotaurs are like the worst, right? Like, they can't wear boots, and they have some other restrictions, I think. But I thought it was sick that you could play as a Minotaur. Alright, this region looks like it might be kind of haunted. We got some dead trees and stuff. Maybe, and some, like, bones. Yeah, this could be the one. I don't know if the guy who originally told me about it is in the chat right now, but, yeah, I think that could be, like, a good region for the Druid to be trying to restore balance to. Some kind of cursed region with a lot of undead, or Daedra, or unnatural forces. Archomage, yes. Yeah, Archomage is awesome, right? I feel like that might be the best minigame in any RPG I've played. It was addicting. It was fun to go to like tavern to tavern and try and win in each location. I didn't feel like I perfectly grasped it. Like, I could understand how to play, of course, but there's probably a decent amount of strategy to it. I swear game design peaked in the 90s? Yeah. It definitely peaked as far as like my preferences go, as far as my personal enjoyment. I'm lagging. Let's give it a second to fix itself. If you have any ideas for forms, which would be vanilla friendly, drop them, or other spells I could try my hands on. I'm modding only for 5 days, so it's a bit sloppy, but I hope to refine the mod a good bit. Yeah, that's awesome. For 5 days? You've only been modding for 5 days and you're doing this awesome work? That's crazy. That's awesome. Of course, I could list off a bunch of cool Druid spells, but yeah, I know so little about modding that I would have no idea what's realistic, what's not realistic, what's hard to do, what's not hard to do. So, but yeah, I really like Call Lightning. Of course, I feel like it's the definitive Neverwinter Nights Druid spell in my eyes. The chance to just strike all nearby enemies in an area of effect with lightning, I thought was always awesome for Druids. Stone Skin or Bark Skin's also a classic. Hi, I started watching your videos yesterday and I really enjoy them. Keep up the good work. I hope you try out the Wayward Realms too. Thank you. What's up, Zabi? I really appreciate that. I'm definitely going to try out the Wayward Realms. I didn't actually sign up for the early access, so I'm just going to wait for it to actually release, and then I plan to definitely cover it. I'm hoping it does well. I haven't really been closely following it anymore, to be honest, but I'm still rooting for it. I want a nice Daggerfall spiritual successor to succeed, of course. And I appreciate the kind words. I always love reading comments or messages from you guys about how you enjoy the video. Really makes me appreciate having the channel and doing content like this. I've also just really been enjoying the live streams. It's been a lot of fun talking with you guys, hanging out. And, you know, just kind of sharing our hobby with Daggerfall, with more retro fantasy gaming. But yeah, this must be the region, right? All these dead trees, it's got to be the one I'm thinking of here. This region kind of looks a little weird to me, though. Like a little, something about the grass is like a little pixelated-y looking in the distance. I'm not sure. There's a merge mod that merges 6 through 8. Please don't play it. 1 sec, my chat just dropped down there. There's a merge mod that merges 6 through 8. Please don't play it. Play them individually as a first timer. You'll appreciate them more. I actually did see that when I started 8, and I think it makes them a lot easier, right? Because you keep your level and stuff, and that, I feel like that can't be good for balance. I still bear animosity towards Trip Hawkins for how he did New Worlds dirty, or we might still have new Might and Magic games. Oh yeah, I don't know much about the history with the series or anything. But I really did enjoy my time with 8. Like, it wasn't perfect, of course, and I felt like most of it was generally pretty easy, though I did find, like, the final dungeon a little difficult for me. Not too hard, but, yeah, and I definitely did not have an optimized team. Though in Might and Magic 8, you recruit them, so I think it's different from 7 and 6, where you just make your whole team in the beginning, if I remember correctly. Personally got more into the AOW series more than Might and Magic. AOW, is that a... I'm actually not familiar with that might be. I know that there is another series that's similar to Might and Magic, and I think it's called... I can't think of the name right now. Wizardry, right? Isn't that kind of similar as well? I know Might and Magic's actually, like, open world, though, which Wizardry, I think, is, like, grid-based, maybe? I'm not exactly sure, but, yeah. Might and Magic, not Here's Might and Magic, that's the turn-based SRPG, yeah. I like Here's Might and Magic as well. I played Here's Might and Magic 3 a decent amount. I actually recently played it, like, 2 years ago, and, yeah, I think it holds up great. It has amazing music as well. I love the Stronghold theme. That's my favorite faction. You got the Rocks, the Giants, Thunderbirds. Really cool stuff. A plan is to add a faction of druids who also teach the shapeshifting spells. If you were part of them, but I don't know how to do it yet, maybe the progression could tie in quests to restore an area. Interesting. Yeah, the way I was going to design restoring an area was going to be kind of like a little bit using our imagination rather than trying to find a mod that like perfectly captures it. But what I was thinking was I would go to every single dungeon that has undead populations and we would clear the entire dungeon. And then we could cross that dungeon off on the region and try and completely restore the region that way. And I had some interesting ideas for the final episode that I want to set up specifically, but I want to keep that a secret. But yeah, things like that is a way that I can kind of go about kind of restoring balance, dealing with unnatural threats. And that's why I kind of want a region that's not too big. And this is kind of a big region, honestly. I could actually check if I do map, reveal locations. I think I should be able to see just how many dungeons are in this. Yeah, so there are a ton of dungeons in a region like this, so doing all of it's not going to be realistic. Yeah, definitely not. Orange being like the biggest dungeons here, and there's still some like darker orange ones as well. Which region is it? I'm still searching. I lost the thing. I'm still searching for a place to add my new faction. This is... I have no idea how to pronounce this. Callan. Might and Magic 7 was my favorite as a kid. 6 is my favorite now. Interesting. I think I also bought 6. I think I bought them in like a GOG series sale, so I think I have all of them maybe now. But I only played 8. Yeah, I'm kind of sad about it. It makes sense for a Druid Circle to exist in Elder Scrolls 2. The NPC legit mentioned an Archdruid in dialogue. Yeah, I was kind of surprised when I first played Daggerfall and I didn't even find a pre-made Druid class. That kind of shocked me. AOW is Age of Wonders. It competes with the Heroes of Might and Magic. Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard of this series as well. I've never played any Age of Wonders games. But, yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 I thought was great. I have 2 also. I just haven't played it yet. Age of Wonders, but I assumed he meant Here's My Magic. 3 is a legendary game? Yeah. I know they still have a pretty, like, competitive scene as well, which is pretty cool. I think 3 was really hard for me, actually, honestly. Even just doing the campaign, which was kind of shocking. But I think it's because the campaign doesn't really have proper difficulty settings. Like, instead, as you go through a campaign, it's like each mission has a set difficulty. So like maybe the first 2 missions are normal, then the 3rd mission's hard, 4th mission might go to like very hard, or something like that. And yeah, I found it to be pretty difficult actually for me. And it's like the type of game where you can kind of get yourself stuck in a situation where like you don't have the resources to defend a keep, and then it's like the NPCs go to an unoccupied keep and you go to one of theirs, and then you just kind of keep rotating like day after day, and you're not making any progress. But yeah, the people that are really good at that game, of course, don't have that issue. But for me, I actually felt like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was fairly challenging towards the later missions in certain campaigns. Just found out there's homesteading in Devilspire Falls. You can build a farm and grow crops. I imagine you can build larger structures as well, maybe set up your own keep. That's really cool. Yeah, as far as like mods like that for Daggerfall, I can think of there is the harvestable crops mod. Oh no, I'm lagging a ton. There's a harvestable crops mod. There's also foraging mod, which is pretty cool for a similar life sim kind of feeling. Let's check out a different region here. Let's check out a smaller one like Dania here. This one does not have that many dungeons, but I think it's still way too many to be for like a 10 episode series, 10 to 12 episode series or something like that. I don't know. It's so hard for me to think of like specific ways to communicate restoring a region in Daggerfall. I have a really good idea for the final episode with this, but until then, I'm not exactly sure how the playthrough itself should be like positioned. You know, what's the goal from episode to episode? Do we want to be clearing these dungeons that are specifically infested with undead? Or do we want to be going to smaller dungeons like burial grounds, crypts, and graveyards could be an option. There's a couple of different ways to go about it. It could also be just specifically doing quests for like a temple faction as well. That could be part of the equation here. There's multiple custom castle dungeons with undead in Kalan. Interesting. Custom castle dungeons. Is that from maybe like Dungeons of Daggerfall, or just... Do you mean custom in like a vanilla Daggerfall way? Or a modded way? I'm Kitty Mere Cutin. I like the name. And I approve of something I long thought was impossible. Amazing mod. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, honestly. It dropped out of nowhere. I was not expecting this. And this lag is not from the Dragonriding. It's just my setup. One of the really cool things about starting a new playthrough for me is that I get to revisit my mod list and purge a bunch of mods that I'm not really using anymore that could be causing some performance loss and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited to do that as well for the Druid playthrough. We're not going to need a bunch of mods that we had for the Pirate playthrough anymore. They're modded, yes. Oh, okay, interesting. Are they just specific mods for specific dungeons, like it's one mod with one dungeon, or is it more like Dungeons of Daggerfall where it's a compilation of multiple ones? What's the mod name for the Dragonriding? It's called Dragonrider, I'm pretty sure. Dragonrider, and you can find it on Nexus, of course. Okay, Dungeons of Daggerfall, cool. Yeah, I have Dungeons of Daggerfall installed, so that's good for me. Off the top of your head, do you know any of the names of any of them? Because I know they have unique names as well, or some of them do at least, because when I was in the Hammerfell region, I could just search in the box like Dwarven, and then all the Dwemer dungeons would show up for Dungeons of Daggerfall, which was really nice. But so this is definitely meant to be like a haunted or undead region or something. You'll hop on your PC? Oh, thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I can see some here. I do see some castles. Is there a mod that adds actual dungeon NPCs / enemies to Daggerfall? In the vanilla Daggerfall, there are Dragonling enemies, and they actually look just like this. So this is part of the vanilla enemy list, and there is a mod called Daggerfall Enemy Expansion, and that includes a bunch of different enemies. I'm not sure if there's any dragon added to that, but it honestly would not surprise me if there's at least one, or something very similar to a dragon, because I think I remember that there was one other enemy that takes the dragonish language skill for pacification, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head. I thought there was also one other mod out there that increased the size of the way this looks and made like a larger dragon-looking enemy, but I just can't remember now. That's never a mod I had installed, but I think there is something like that. Fairy dragons, nice, yeah. I thought it was something like that. Good call. It's actually really cool to spawn some aerial enemies. Off the top of my head, I can't think of which number is for Dragonlings. It might be 19? No. Let's try 10. Or 11, 12. Oh, harpies fly, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure which one spawns. Let's kill these guys. Let's try CM30. Ruins of Bexley Fortress is one. I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks for looking that up for me. Let's check that out then, actually, in a bit. I just want to... Okay, 34 is for Dragonlings. I'll keep that in mind. It's pretty fun doing these aerial fights like this. You could hop on your guy here, and oh, this is a cool little shrine also. CM34, you can spawn a few of them. And then let me toggle God mode off. And then once they start separating, you can try and dodge their shots and stuff. It's pretty fun. In one of the mods, oh, I guess it's Warm Ashes, right? Yeah, I guess in Warm Ashes, when the castle gets to like the third wave of enemies, you can get a bunch of Dragonling spawns like this. That's pretty fun to do this. Fight them, do some barrel rolls. And practice your aiming, I guess. Because they're pretty hard to hit, these shots, actually. It would be cool if they always just shot out their fireballs. There probably is an enemy I can get to do that. Maybe like a, I don't know. Is there a flying enemy that will always shoot out something like that? Probably not, right? This gameplay reminds you of Magic Carpet? Is that a PC game? I don't think I've heard of Magic Carpet. Someone else just mentioned that, right? Or that might have been you, actually. Strafing is always best maneuver until you get shot from multiple directions. Yeah. Alright, let me be right back. I'm going to get some water real quick. I'm afraid to activate any overlays on my OBS right now. This one should be safe. No sound, right? Alright, I'll be right back. Like 2 minutes, and then we'll check out the ruins of Bexley Fortress, which should have some undead and should be like a custom dungeon a little bit. It'll be interesting. I'll be right back. All right. So let's check out this dungeon real quick. Whoa, what just hit me for like all my health there? One of the dragons didn't die. Let's run away from this guy. Actually, I'll just kill him with the console command here. Where's he at? Let me catch up on chat real quick. Does this mod make Dragonlings more common? I don't think it does. I think what it does change, though, is it adds a new drop to Dragonlings. So they have a chance to they have a chance to drop the dragon egg, which gives you the dragon mount. It's a really, really low chance, though. Where can I find dragonlings? That is a good question. I think they're kind of like a mid to high level enemy, so I'm not exactly sure. I think what you could do if you just want to spawn it for fun, for testing, it was CM, so you just open up your console with the tilde button and just type CM34, press enter, and then you'll spawn a dragonling. So you could do it that way if you want to just test something. But where are they on the map, actually? I'm not sure. Like, what is a common place to find them? Sometimes I've seen them in dungeons. But, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Magic Carpet is even older than Daggerfall. Pretty good, though, not an RPG. It's like Populous in first person. Riding a Magic Carpet, throwing spells around, that sounds pretty sick, honestly. I like that. Are these mods? Yes, these are all mods. Dragonrider mod is called on Nexus. Played this game to death back in the 90s. Nice. I wish I played it during the earlier years like that. I actually only played Daggerfall for the first time like 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I love it. You lived the golden age of Elder Scrolls. Yeah, I wish I had joined you. By the way, is there a mod that adds the shouts from Skyrim? I wish. That sounds pretty cool. Someone was just mentioning, was that you who mentioned that earlier? The Thumes? I think someone was just talking about that. Adding those to Daggerfall. Is Dragonrider mod compatible with travel options? Not directly, although it still kind of does function. So if you choose like a location, let's say we choose this, and we do player-controlled movement, you can see I have a time up here. I'm not actually moving, but everyone else is in their 30 times speed. But if I press forward, I actually will move in that speed. So it's kind of interesting. It does kind of work. But I wouldn't say it's compatible, necessarily. Oh, you didn't play Daggerfall back in '96? No, I actually didn't. I think because my channel is so focused on Daggerfall, a lot of people think I was like a OG Daggerfall player. Some people have even said things like, I think you only like this game because of nostalgia and all that stuff, but no, I actually just played it for the first time 2 years ago. I actually played Arena before Daggerfall as well, and that was also the first time that I played Arena. That was like 2.5 years ago. Hey, Penguin, what's up? Good to see you. We're going to check out that dungeon now. Let me go do that real quick. So let's see, that was called Ruins of Bexley Fortress. So this should be a custom dungeon with some undead or unnatural enemies. We'll see. Should be interesting. And if any of you guys have any idea of how I can better capture the idea of like restoring a region in this game, what kind of goals would accomplish that, definitely feel free to throw those at me, because I'm kind of unsure how I want to tackle that idea for the playthrough. I definitely am settled on keeping it to one region, so I like that. Also, this dungeon exterior looks great. I really like the new exteriors for Dungeons of Daggerfall. The Pirate Coves are my favorite. They look amazing. The Dwemer dungeons look incredible as well. And this one being this old, rundown, in disrepair little castle here, or whatever this is, looks amazing. 96 was such a goated year for gaming. Yeah. I was a little bit too young back then to really be playing a game like Daggerfall in 96. If I was a little bit older, I could have made it in time, and I probably would have been into it. Because I was playing fantasy games pretty early. Partly because I got into Magic the Gathering, which got me into fantasy when I was really, really young. Every year until 2001 was goated. 1990 2001 was a golden age. Yeah, there were so many amazing games during that time period. Pretty much all of my favorite games, which I was actually also, speaking of that, considering doing a video on like my top 10 or 15 favorite RPGs. I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in watching like a tier list video where I could just talk about some of my favorite games with some footage to them. But I would be covering games around that era, pretty much 1990 to early 2000s. Daggerfall, Neverwinter Nights. Shpan, what's your take on climate and calories mod? Climate and calories, I'm a little conflicted on that mod. There's a lot about it that I like, but the lack of sort of settings options for it makes it difficult for me to use in a lot of playthroughs, honestly. Yeah, I really wish you could sort of slightly alter with some kind of option setting a few of the inclusions that I would like to get rid of. But Climate and Calories really is like the definitive survival mod, right? So if you're into survival gameplay, it is the mod to go to still. And I think most of what it does really well. It's just, it is a lot to manage as well, without any way to really customize that management, which can make some playthroughs, especially if you're going for specific ideas and you're already imposing some restrictions on yourself, it can make it really challenging, especially early on. What's up with those beams of light? Sorry, you talked about it before. No, you're good. I did mention it earlier, but that's no big deal. These are from the Dragonrider mod, actually. So they are signifying some locations that are really far away. And it's a pretty cool addition to the mod because instead of just checking your map all the time for a nearby dungeon or a nearby town, these lights will show you the way. So I think yellow is for cities. I think red is for dungeons. Purple, I'm not exactly sure what that was. And I think blue is for like temples, temple towns. Or I guess they're called temple taverns. I forgot what they're called exactly, but yeah. So if I go over to this yellow one, it should be like a mini town or something. Yeah, you can already see it's a little town here. It actually looks really good on the map too. I don't think it's too distracting or anything. I think it looks nice. I don't think there's actually a way to turn these off, though, if you don't like them with the Dragonrider mod. I could be wrong about that, actually. I could probably check, even. Oh, this mod might not have a... no, it doesn't have a settings in the actual game option, which is okay. I'm not sure if there's settings to toggle those off or not, but I think they look pretty good. They're not too distracting, either. Fascination for computers in the 90s was young. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's from the Dragon mod, and it's like navigation beacons. I probably should have read your comment before I gave that long response. Oh, I forgot where I was... Yeah, let me check again. I forgot where I was going again. I was going to... what was the name of that? Dungeon again. For my birthday... Oh, I missed so many comments. My bad, guys. Let me take a look at some of these. For my birthday, I wanted Daggerfall. My friends bought me Red Alert. Oh, no. Yeah. I never played the Red Alert series. I feel like they're considered pretty good, right? People like them. It's always fun to hear genuine thoughts on why someone likes something. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it would be fun for me to do a like little tier list video going over some of my favorite games, but a lot of my non-Daggerfall content doesn't usually do that well on this channel. There are some exceptions though. My Realms of Arcania video did really well, but in general, if it's not Daggerfall, it doesn't do too well on my channel. Okay, this is where we were. We were looking for this dungeon. That's right. Me and my friend with swap fantasy game books while playing Daggerfall. Just finished collecting the original Lone Wolf books. Feels good. Almost got all the Wizards, Warriors, and U books now too. Interesting. Fantasy game books? Yeah, that's sick. I love all that old kind of stuff. I really wish I had more physical copies of a lot of those old games that I used to love. I think I will eventually pick up a physical copy of Daggerfall when I'm when I feel like spending like 200 or 400, whatever it is. The beam should disappear the closer you get to avoid the big pixel beam. Yeah, that'd be a really nice idea, actually. That'd be a great addition to the mod. In 1992, Ultima Underworld came out together with Ultima 7 and Might and Magic World of Zine. That summer was epic. I actually own World of Zine as well, I think. I didn't even bother firing it up yet. I think I have all the Might and Magic games from a GOG series sale. Ruins of Bexley Fortress? Yeah, thanks. I'm getting so sidetracked, my bad. I played Ultima 6 and 7 to death as well. Believe it or not, I've actually never played any of the Ultima games, which is kind of crazy for like a retro fantasy fan. Oh yeah, this already looks sick. This already looks mad different than any other dungeon. That's kind of crazy how it's crazy how I had this mod for so long and there's so many of these custom dungeons I haven't explored. I'm not sure if the map's revealed because I did the console command, but either way, this looks sick. We got werewolves, we got some warriors, some rats. Wow, I really feel like I did not properly check out Dungeons of Daggerfall. I actually included it in one of the monthly mod videos, and I think I did not do it justice, honestly. I kind of regret the way I covered it. I showed off the Dwemer Ruins, and I think I showed off one of the Pirate Coves. And I showed off the, like the remote islands that the Pirate Coves spawn on, but I did not show off dungeons like these, and these look amazing. This is just so awesome. This is just great work by SquidKamer. Man, I would love more dungeons like this in this game. Huh. I'm kind of shocked this is the first time I'm seeing this. Thanks for pointing this out to me, Sandstorm, because, yeah, I would not even have guessed to check. That means there's probably a couple other regions with custom dungeons like this that I really haven't explored. I'm going to revisit that mod page and just reread it all again just to see what it says. Because for the Dwarven Ruins, it was pretty easy for me to discover. Since all you have to do is type Dwarven near any of like the desert regions and you'll find it. But yeah, this is really sick. I like the size too. It's really not that big. It's interesting. It's really different from what you usually get in Daggerfall. Daggerfall came on floppy disks. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I am old enough to remember floppy disks. I had them in my house as well. But yeah, Daggerfall was still just a little bit before when I would have been gaming. I think there were two versions of floppy and CD-ROM one. Nowadays, you just download it. Yeah, same as everything else. Yeah. I do like having physical copies, though, whenever I can. I actually do have a lot of physical copies of some older games that I played still. But, yeah, Daggerfall was not one of them, sadly. My permadeath character got slimed by some ghosts in here. Yeah, ghosts are really a pretty difficult enemy, I gotta say. I do not like fighting ghosts. They're extremely hard with killer instincts as well. Man, look at these little like windows that pop through. This is just so cool. This could have been like a jail cell, you think, down here? Nah, maybe not. But even so, it's a cool little window here. Yeah, ghosts are one of my least favorite. Oh, little clever treasure thing here. Oh yeah, I lost all my equipment because I have the roguelike mod on, that's why. This is very cool. I don't remember Daggerfall being on floppy. It would have been too big. I still have my disc copy. Interesting. Yeah, I can't believe how expensive physical copies for Daggerfall are right now. If you want, like, the box and the manual and all that stuff. I think I looked at it like a year ago. I was thinking about just grabbing it. Then I was like, nah, I don't think I want to spend like 200. It's probably more by now as well. All right, this is really interesting. I gotta keep this in mind. I'm gonna make a note real quick for the Druid playthrough, because I'm wondering if I should focus on dungeons like this. I want to find a way to represent sort of like restoring balance to a region without having to clear the entire region, and doing it in ways where we can make it episodic and not too long of a full playthrough. Which has definitely not been easy for me. Have fun playing, gotta go. Thanks for hanging out, Eric. Take care. I remember stabbing old floppy disks from my father's workplace to destroy data. I was a menacing 6-year-old, oh man. I remember having to constantly swap disks because I played it on my IBM XT. It's so funny how that type of stuff, like, I recognize the name IBM, but I couldn't even tell you what it looks like or anything like that. It's all like right before my time. I was probably like 4 or 5 when Daggerfall came out. Dual disk drive IBM XT. Arena was definitely floppy. Never seen a Daggerfall floppy though. A sealed copy of Daggerfall goes for $1,100. Oh, a sealed copy? Yeah. Yeah, that kind of doesn't surprise me with how expensive physical games have gotten these days. Especially because Daggerfall is like one of those big box games, right? So it looks really good if you hang it up on your shelves or something. But yeah, 1,100 is still insane. I think like pre-owned, complete in box versions aren't too bad. I mean, it's not great, of course. It's still a few $100s, which I don't want to spend right now for Daggerfall, but someday I could be tempted. Alright, so I think this region is like the highest contender right now for the Druid playthrough. Kind of unfortunate there's no water. This isn't on like a coast, but we really don't need to sail for this playthrough. Actually, we probably shouldn't anyway. We did that a lot in the pirate playthrough. And there is some big bodies of water. Actually, let's check these out real quick. Whenever I see like a blue box on the map, it's probably like a pretty gigantic body of water, actually, even though it looks so tiny. Yeah, this is pretty big. Man, this is cool. I don't have Iliac Puddle No More up right now, just because I was testing stuff, and I was flying with the dragon. I was lagging up my setup. My setup still lags, even without it, but yeah, this region might be the winner. I kind of want to see what this region looks like at night. I'm pretty sure it spawns like a lot of ghosts and undead and stuff like that, so that all fits into what we want to be doing with the playthrough. Let's try to sleep for a little bit. Actually, what time is it here? It's 7, okay. I used to collect the big box games, so I have both the EU and US versions of Daggerfall. They have different box covers, but the US one is by far superior. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I really like the way the cover art works in Daggerfall. I think it looks really nice. And I do like the big box sizes like that. It's really a nice display piece when you have them. Ooh, we got enemies already? Let's see what's nearby. A werewolf? Okay, that checks out. That's pretty good. That definitely counts as unnatural for my Druid playthrough. Same with Fallout. The cover is different between EU and US. Yeah, I think that's pretty common, actually. I have a lot of physical copies of PS2 games because I played a lot of those when I was younger, and I basically have most of my collection still, and I think it's not too uncommon to have differences in cover art for EU and NA versions. Wonder if AI voices will be possible for this. I'd assume it probably is. I don't know if anyone's done it yet, but actually, I don't know. I really don't know too much about modding, to be honest. I feel like it should be doable, though. I forgot what this command was. Place boat 1, maybe? Yeah, there's 1. Place boat 2. Yeah, this is my favorite boat from all the ones from Come Sail Away. Man, Daggerfall just has everything these days now. We got flying dragons, we got ships that can be traveled on in real time with really good physics. We got ocean depths. We got free reign that makes the horse controls amazing. I mean, we also have a camel option for the horse. Daggerfall has just been absolutely insane this past year, the modding. Morrowind is pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely planning to revisit this year. I'm going to try and actually do a full playthrough. I don't know if I'll cover it all for the channel. My Morrowind video did pretty well. I feel like a decent amount of you guys were interested. It just, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to do a lot of content like that. I feel like I already do a lot of Daggerfall content, and I could probably slow down a little bit on it. I enjoy doing it, of course, but yeah, some variety like Morrowind could be fun, I think. But just for myself, I kind of want to play it, so I don't know if I want to be recording content for it constantly, if I'm just kind of, you know, trying to experience it for myself. Even for Daggerfall, there's some characters I don't show on my videos or anything, because I kind of like to keep them separate for my own enjoyment. But yeah, I definitely want to revisit Morrowind. I need to. I was enjoying that first character I was playing as. I think I only put in like 10 or 12 hours in total, maybe. But I felt like it was good. This is why PC games will always be superior to console games. Modding. Yeah, I love modding. I love it in basically every game that I play. Imagine if you could park your dragon on your ship. I feel like you kind of can. You probably can, actually. The dragon doesn't actually look that big, though, when it's represented in this. I can walk on it just fine. And if I go on foot, you'll see my dragon will hover there. But I don't know if he'll stick with me or he'll float away. Let's check it. Yeah, he's floating away. I think you're right. I think you can't really park it. Unless I told him to follow me. In which case, he actually probably can. Yeah, now he'll actually stick with the boat. Yeah, it's pretty cool to have your dragon kind of flying behind you. Morrowind was good, but was not a successor of Daggerfall. Oh yeah, absolutely. I could feel that immediately when I started playing it, to be honest. First thing I really missed was the disadvantages and advantages system. I was genuinely shocked that Morrowind wouldn't keep that from Daggerfall. I feel like it's one of Daggerfall's coolest character creation tools. The advantages and disadvantages system is just... it's so brilliant, not just for like game balance and design and character creation, but it's also just brilliant for role-playing. Like if I want to play a specific paladin type of character, I can choose an advantage like bonus to hit undead, or, you know, phobia of, let's say, humanoids if I'm playing some kind of like hermit character or nomad that doesn't really interact with people in cities. You go phobia to humanoids. It's just like the role-playing potential with the advantages and disadvantage system is just so good. And I felt like, I know the Morrowind, I know it has the star signs, which are they're definitely similar, but they just don't have that role-playing vibe. I don't know. To me, it just didn't hit as good. And there's way less of them. Like, I can mix and match any of the disadvantages and advantages to build a specific, you know, concept for a character. And, yeah. I just feel like the birth signs were not a good replacement for disadvantages and advantages for me personally. OpenMW is incredible now. Yeah, that's kind of similar to Daggerfall Unity, right? But that's for Morrowind. I actually did not even use that when I played my first 10 hours, and I feel like that was probably a mistake. When I restart my Morrowind playthrough, we're going to use OpenMW. And I don't know if I should get... I don't know, maybe Morrowind fans, you guys could let me know if I should start with a modded playthrough or start with a non-modded playthrough. It doesn't really matter to me too much if I play like the original vanilla mode or not, but I wouldn't want to mod it too heavily. But if there's like a specific amount of mods that you think are really transformative or really useful, like I would even recommend people playing Daggerfall for the first time to use travel options, even if they really want a vanilla experience. I still think travel options is a good addition. But I mean, of course, if you want the pure vanilla experience, just specifically to experience how it was, that's fine. But travel options is like one of those mods I'd recommend to anyone. And I think Morrowind probably has mods that are worth using even on a first playthrough. Alright, let me catch up on chat real quick. I feel like I'm missing a bunch here. Regarding a goal for the Druid playthrough, how about trying to clear all dungeons of a specific type? For example, in Kalan are 10 laboratories or 8 vampire haunts, depending on RP flavor you want. Yeah, that's exactly the type of idea I need. I think that's the way to do it. I wonder if there's one that's specifically for like undead. Skeletal warriors and zombies and maybe ghosts as well. I guess vampire haunts would have some of those. However, it could be difficult to find them without quests. Don't know how to solve that. Yeah, I don't know either. I could kind of make myself an archdruid of the region and just say I have knowledge of all the locations already. And instead of focusing on discovering the locations, we could just be traveling to them. And I think that would be okay as like a wise druid that's just responsible for this one region to already be aware of these locations. It could maybe work in a role-playing setting. I'd have to use the console commands for that, though, I think. I hated the warp in the West nonsense and the lore after Daggerfall, Roman Imperials, French Bretons. Yeah, I'm really not even that familiar with lore, even in Daggerfall. I know a little bit about the warp in the West, and of course I finished the main story, so I know what the main story tells you. But as far as like its implications into later Elder Scrolls titles, I'm not that aware of how the lore breaks down afterwards. Morrowind was a smaller world than Daggerfall, unfortunately. Yeah, much smaller. Which, I mean, they were going for something very different. They were going for, you know, more of like a narrative-focused, character-focused, narrative-focused game, I feel like. So it's a little bit different than Daggerfall's general mission, in my opinion. I think it's good that they have their differences. I'm kind of glad that it's not too much like Daggerfall. There are some things from Daggerfall that I'm going to miss because I'm just a huge Daggerfall fan. But I'm glad that it's its own thing. You know, it's not Daggerfall 2. I think that's good. Because it has its own fan base and all that. And by doing something different, it's just a different vibe. Like, I feel like if I was more in the mood for a narrative-focused game, Morrowind would probably scratch that itch a lot better than Daggerfall. You should check out Tamriel Rebuild. There's a lot of content. Is that for Morrowind? There's an old interview with Todd Howard just before the release of Oblivion. In it, he goes over what he views as the reason of their success. Seeing where's the excess fat and trimming it. Explains the streamlining of the games over time. Interesting. Also Morrowind, when Elder Scrolls stopped being a fantasy world simulation to a classic RPG, yeah. Depends. The only mods I recommend for new players is an always hit mod, since it's a big deal for some people. Yeah, I'm kind of used to that with Daggerfall. I think that would be okay for me. I don't think I would need that personally. But yeah, I know some people really don't like that. And from what I've played around with the combat in Morrowind in the first 10 hours, I think I want to keep the combat the same. Unless there's something really, really valuable. I actually like how the combat felt in Morrowind at first. Tamriel Rebuilt. I'm into some Neverwinter Nights right now. Oh yeah, are you playing Neverwinter Nights? That's awesome. That is one of my favorite games. It's actually one of those games, I'm not sure if it's higher on my list than even Daggerfall is, but it's one of my favorite games ever. Which module are you playing right now? Are you playing the OC or one of the expansions or some kind of modded module? I would also consider the iHearth Vanilla mod list on OpenMW mod page. Oh, is that like a mod compilation or something? iHearth Vanilla mod list. Interesting. That probably sounds like something I would want. Keeping it similar to Vanilla, but just some changes that might be nice. How exactly would the protecting the region part of the Druid playthrough work, or is it purely RP? It would be mostly role-playing, but I'd be focusing on defeating enemies that are basically unnatural forces, things like undead, skeleton warriors, vampires, Daedra, that kind of stuff. And my original idea was to go to different dungeons that are filled with them and clear the dungeons. So then it can actually feel like on the map, we dealt with this threat, you know? But yeah, I mean, of course, dungeons actually respawn in this game, so you're not actually doing that. That's part of the imagination aspect, which is always a part of my playthroughs, honestly. I always like doing some kind of imagination role-playing aspects to it as well. I don't always need mods to perfectly capture everything in-game that I'm going for. But yeah, there's a couple ways I could do that. That was one of them, and there's also a secret concept I have for the final episode or final 2 episodes, but I'm keeping that a secret for now. I would have liked the Daggerfall 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, fair. I mean, I would like it too, I'm sure. But I do like that there's differences between all the titles. Shpan, how do you play new RPGs you haven't tried before? Do you go in with a way you want to roleplay, like your pirate runs, or do you do something more general? I have trouble getting into RPGs. That's an interesting question. It depends on the type of game, honestly. If it's a game with a lot of role-playing freedom, if I'm playing like Neverwinter Nights or Oblivion or Daggerfall, a game where you build your own character, then I do like to make a character concept. I generally enjoy making like character concepts with some rough back history or something like that. And I want my character's build to reflect the role-playing concept that I'm going for. So if I'm, like the example of the pirate, if I'm going pirate, I'm going to be going longsword, streetwise, and I'm going to build in that kind of way. So I tend to do that for any RPG I play, if I can make my own character. If it's a game that's kind of a looser RPG, like the Witcher series or Mass Effect series, then I'm kind of just getting into the narrative, and I don't really care that much about role-playing the character, in my opinion. I don't really self-insert in a game like that too much. I guess in general, self-insert's not the right phrase anyway, though, because even if I'm trying to capture a specific role-playing concept, it doesn't mean that I'm always self-inserting. I just like the idea of capturing a specific concept in fantasy. But I do tend to kind of gravitate towards the classes I like, which I think makes sense. You know, I play a lot of druids in games, which tends to be my favorite class. Oh man, I'm so slow to respond to these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I've released my mod on Nexus. Should I post the link here? Yeah, sure. Whatever you feel like. You could post the link here. I'm sure I'll cover it. I'm going to do a mod showcase for it at some point as well. Power Struggle might be a good idea for protecting the region thing. Is that a mod? Power Struggle? I actually don't... Oh, I do know what this is. This is the mod for, like, faction fights, right? I've heard of this one. I don't think I've ever installed this mod. That was a good call. Thanks. I'll check that out and see if that feels like a good fit. A Hearth Vanilla is a graphical update, but it keeps everything close to the original game. Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, graphical updates, those could be nice. I actually think Morrowind looked pretty good. I didn't really feel like I needed to do a graphical update, but if it's like small things, then yeah, I'll definitely check that out. It's called Borrowed Skins, right? Okay. Yeah, guys, you should definitely check out the Druid Spells mod by Taraba Ninja. Looks like he just released it on Nexus, called Borrowed Skins. I'll show it off again on stream in a little bit, actually. There's an indie game that's still not finished yet, but it's actively being worked on that reminds me of Daggerfall. It's called Devilspire Falls. Yes. And, hey, Hero Who. But, I have been recommended Devilspire Falls a bunch of times now, actually. I think you're even the third person in this stream to mention it, which is awesome. It must be really, really similar to Daggerfall if people keep mentioning it like that. That's really sick. I'm going to add it to my list, and I'm going to check it out after this stream. Devilspire Falls. Maybe I'll watch some gameplay online, see how it looks. My favorite class is Stealth Archer or Rogue. Yeah, Stealth Archer is a classic. That tends not to be my favorite, but I know it's very well liked. instead of rogues, I kind of like capturing more specifically, like more narrow of a role-playing concept as a thief specifically. Someone that's really not good at close combat or combat at all, but you know, role-playing sort of like urban thieving where you build up your, at least in Daggerfall, you build up your wealth through breaking in every night, building up your lockpicking, building up your stealth skill. I thought it was pretty fun. I had a short playthrough. It was only like 4 episodes on the channel where I was doing my thief role-playing. I actually really liked it. Druid playthrough. If we are anti-undead, I would suggest crypts and desecrated temples in Yakalan. Thank you. That's exactly what I need, actually. I'm going to actually take some screenshots here and also add these to my notes. Because, yeah, this is exactly what I need. Just a little bit of narrowing it down. I can't go to every dungeon. And, yeah, so crypts, desecrated temples. Crypts are... Do you mean like the crypts that are just kind of the smaller ones, like the dark red dungeons, or their actual bigger dungeons called? Actually, I could check myself, I guess. Is there only one crypt in this? Yeah, there might be only one crypt in this area, but I know what you mean. There's also graveyards. There's also tombs. Yeah. So we could do all the graveyards, all the tombs, all the crypts as smaller little dungeons when we're passing the bigger ones, and then go for desecrated temples for the big purging of the undead. Here, thank you for offering. That would be amazing to get a mod showcase. I'm not good with video making. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to do a mod showcase on the Druid spells. That's my favorite. Sorry for the multiple comments. I tried to add another line. No, you're good. You don't have to apologize. If I ever missed your comments, you know, feel free just to type it again, send it to me again, no big deal. Thief class without the pickpocketing. Yeah, I think I did have pickpocketing, but I think I rarely used it, honestly. It's kind of hard to skill that up, which is kind of a funny thing about that skill. It's kind of hard to risk going for it often and then getting caught and having to flee an entire town. Though I guess you don't always have to flee the entire town when you get caught, but yeah. Devil's Fire Falls is on my wish list. It looks like the RP freedom of Daggerfall and other similar games taken to the extreme. Yeah, I'm really intrigued right now. I've had so many Devil Spire Falls recommendations that I feel like it's probably going to be a game I really like. I just have such a big backlog right now that I kind of haven't really been getting to because I'm making a lot of Daggerfall content in my free time these days. So, yeah, I'm definitely behind on my backlog. There's a lot of stuff I want to be playing. Especially some random games that are kind of janky. I've been looking at a game called Ascension to the Throne. It's really janky and it's really rough. But it's like a mix of this open world with Heroes of Might and Magic combat, and it's just really interesting for that reason. And it has a really old-school retro fantasy aesthetic, which is kind of nice. The music wasn't that great, though, which is kind of a shame. It's a dungeon type as listed on UESP. Oh, okay. Some of them seem rather big with 12 blocks without smaller dungeons. Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to look into what their exact names are then. But yeah, that could definitely work. Skyrim only had one required pickpocket quest. Interesting. Hi, Shpan, you have been playing Daggerfall for a long time, I guess. Does the game still surprise you somehow? Hey, what's up, inonera? Hope you're doing well. I would say yeah, it does sometimes. But I think what tends to surprise me more is the modded content, of course. Even with some mods that I've had, like, installed for months, like, even in this stream was a really good example. In the Dungeons of Daggerfall mod, I had not even checked out any of the custom undead mods or undead dungeon mods for this area. So they were really, really nice. And, yeah, I kind of find myself being surprised by modded content, even for mods I had installed for a long time. For the base game itself, I don't know. I feel like I've probably explored most of it. And even if I haven't, a lot of the areas have been changed by mods at this point. So, like, in the vanilla version of Daggerfall, I definitely did not explore every area. But now that I have the World of Daggerfall project on, I don't even know what is vanilla and what's not vanilla when I go to a new region, you know? So I would say it's kind of hard for me to tell exactly. We might soon have a third game too. There's that one being made by some Daggerfall devs. Yeah, you might be talking about the Wayward Realms, which has been in development for a little bit now. I'm definitely following that game. I won't be on the content grind for it when the early access drops like a lot of other people will be, I think. It's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, I'm going to wait for the full release and then I'll cover it on the channel. At least a little bit, if I enjoy it. I'm sure I will, though. I think it's going to be good. It's just, I think it's far away still, that's all. But I could be wrong. I really haven't been following the updates on it too closely. I know they post a lot, so I know they're active. But, yeah. I haven't really been following it that closely anymore. Yeah, let me show you guys the Druid spells one more time. Let's take another look at that. I know there's been some new people popping into the stream since then. And the mod has just dropped, it seems, so... It's called Borrowed Skins, is that right? I think it's called Borrowed Skins. I feel like I'm forgetting. Yeah, Borrowed Skins. And I think it's mostly focused on the wild shapes, but there's also a couple other cool caster form spells for the Druid. We got Bear Skin, which lets you go into bear form here. And you got attacks out of it. And as you can see, it's increasing my strength here, so it does have attribute bonuses, which is really cool. So you don't have to build your actual human Druid form to be able to hit, because your wild shape forms will have some attribute bonuses. And there's a couple different forms, but yeah, you guys can try out the mod for yourselves for sure. I like the bat one as well. This is really cool. You can fly. And the controls are really nice. They feel good. But my favorite are actually the new Druid spells. Just because if I don't have an Entangle, I feel like I can't capture the Druid fantasy without this. So it's really a key spell. But yeah, it lets you cast a little Entangle spell, which will trap your enemies, do some damage. My dragon's actually attacking too. That's kind of cool. I didn't know the dragon also fought. And there's also a little spore. This will also deal some damage. And they both look amazing. I really like how these look. Games like Daggerfall have always intrigued me. If I had the patience, I'd try to make one myself, but I know nothing about game dev, and it seems like a super tough project for a solo dev. Yeah, I would imagine it's really tough. I don't know anything about game dev either, though, so... But, yeah. I feel like it's probably not easy. Nice shot by my dragon there. Go, my mushroomlings. Yeah, I'm not sure. You see the little effect on them? This is really cool to me, and it makes me wonder why, and I'm not saying this to criticize any mod author or anything, but I don't know why we don't see more custom spell effects. Like, I'm sure this is borrowing an effect that's already in the game. I guess it is. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. But it looks really good, I think. I think this looks amazing. So I'm kind of surprised we don't see more custom spells like this. Like, these mushrooms I've definitely seen somewhere else. So there's a lot of cool assets you could take from. I think this effect, though, like what you actually shoot out of your hands with spells, I think this is hard to mod differently. That's what I've heard, at least. Like, every spell kind of has to look like how it looks in the base game, a lot of them. That's what I've heard, at least. But yeah, I think it looks really good. Devil's Fire Falls is made by a single person, though, I think, so maybe someday I will. That's awesome. Mushrooms are not plant, animal, bacteria, or protist. I have a feeling most people don't think to add custom spells because it's just not really a part of the game that needs expansion. Some people simply don't think of it. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, the spell crafting system is so good already in Daggerfall, but I'm just kind of surprised that we don't see it just for the sake of like visual variety. But I also think it's not that easy, so that definitely could be part of it. But there are a decent amount of like assets I think that can be used. Just like we see with the Entangle spell and Mushroom spell. But yeah, I mean, Daggerfall already has so many different spell effects. You can combine them into a single spell. There's just so much variety that you can do, so much freedom with the spell making. So it probably does make sense when you think of it like that. Man, the lighting and the color looks so good on these bandit camps. Like that orange fire there, just looks amazing. So if I have like a bunch of enemies here, let me get off my... Yeah, so you could trap a bunch of them. Some nice crowd control, which is cool. And then from here, I could pop into my bear form or something and start swiping these guys. I actually haven't tested like the ranges that I need to be in for my druid forms. So that's something I probably should have tested a little bit more. So it looks like I might be whiffing right now. I'm not sure. And I remember from Eye of the Beholder that you have to be a lot closer than it seems when it comes with interacting or attacking. So yeah, not exactly sure. I'll have to test that a little bit more. I'm gonna wait for this to time out. These effects are really good. Yeah, I think so too. I really like how they look. I didn't realize you could do like a area of effect entangle spell that looks like that. It kind of surprised me when I first saw it. Let's see. It's apparent that the same guy made everything in DSF, so you need to give the game some leeway. For instance, some of the music pieces should really be replaced, like the music the NPC bard plays. Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of cool that a single dev did that, though. Kind of crazy. Always blows my mind when some person, just a single person, is able to do all sides of game development, from the art and the music and the coding, and that's just crazy to me. And the design, of course, as well. But then the travel and dungeon music is really good. That's nice, yeah. I'm a big fan of good gaming music, so... Let me kill these guys. I always like the night skies in Elder Scrolls games. Yeah. In Daggerfall, it's one of my favorites in any game. I think the night skies, with dynamic skies mod, of course, is just insanely beautiful. You get such ridiculous views and colors and atmosphere. It's just so nice. That is something that does always shock me. I'm always shocked by how insane the skylines look in this game. I have to like stop half the time and just look at them. You could add a health bar mod to get better feedback and a feel for it. Yeah, I might try that actually. I did have one. I think it's deactivated right now. The range is pretty far, to be honest. Okay, that's good. Yeah. I'm probably also whiffing because I have like a negative modifier. Yeah, I got a negative modifier. And although my level says 10, I actually used the console command for this test, so I'm not actually... My attributes don't actually reflect a level 10 character right now. Oh yeah, you like the OG skyboxes? I actually do too, and I waited a long time to install any sky mod, actually a very long time. Yeah, I think now that I got dynamic skies, I feel like I can't go back. But there is something really nice about the old skyboxes like tilting with you in real time. I always thought that was just kind of nice. It's a little jarring with sailing for me, just because you can always see like lands and mountains in the skybox, which is kind of strange if you're in the middle of the ocean. But I don't know why your bear twitches from left to right sometimes. I think, yeah, I think it's from... When I have my weapon unsheathed, I'm on the right side. If I sheath it, I kind of move to the left a little bit. But yeah, I guess he is kind of moving around a little bit. You're right. He is kind of snapping. Yeah, that. Yeah. This is me unsheathed, sheathed, unsheathed, sheathed. So it's weird. I kind of teleport back a little bit. I only have the one that adds birds to the sky, I think, unless I only thought about installing it and didn't actually do it. I do that a lot. I do that a lot as well. I also track mods a lot and then never come back to them. The birds mod, though, I had tracked for like, I don't know, 6 months, and I just still did not even try it yet, which is crazy. Someone just mentioned to me the other day, our galaxy has 400 billion stars. We can only see about 2,500 on a best night, probably less than 1,000 realistically. Yeah, pretty insane. Yeah, something just beautiful about a starry night like this. Kind of never gets old. And then Daggerfall's music is just like... If the nighttime atmosphere and the traveling atmosphere of Daggerfall is already just amazing, adding this music is just makes it so top tier. It's so hard for other RPGs, for me, to capture this like enjoying traveling vibe, this atmospheric, I don't know, experience. It's kind of one of my favorite things about Daggerfall is the traveling, which is really strange, but it just feels like its own unique activity that is just hard for other RPGs to capture. And part of that is because, of course, part of it's because it's really big, but it's not just the size. It's because a lot of it is barren, and a lot of it feels like wilderness. A lot of it feels like isolation. It just builds a very thick atmosphere, in my opinion. And I think also because partly is there are points of interest, but not often. So I just love that you can go 10 minutes in any direction in Daggerfall and see absolutely nothing but the isolating wilderness of the world. But then you can also sometimes go 5 minutes and find a point of interest. So it's not that it's completely barren and there's nothing to do. There are things to find. It's just peaceful and beautiful though, like this. You know, when you see lights in the distance come into view, someone else mentioned that in the last stream too. I just love how that looks in Daggerfall when you're traveling somewhere. He's just getting jiggy. Star Trek, the original series, has the best music. I actually have not watched Star Trek. I do like sci-fi sometimes, though. I definitely prefer fantasy, but I could definitely get into sci-fi as well. I did play through the Mass Effect series. I thought Mass Effect was pretty good. The OG Starry Night box with bloom turned on and effects looks really nice. You're actually making me think that maybe I should retry the old skyboxes again. It's been a long time since I've looked at it. Just for fun. I don't think I'll use it. I think I'm going to stick with dynamic skies for the next playthrough, but I kind of want to re-look at the old skyboxes again. And yeah, maybe I'll try it with bloom on and see how that looks. I like the OG skyboxes, but I feel like they get disorienting in Daggerfall Unity with the increased view distance and whatnot. Definitely made to represent what the new view distance covers. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I have tried Daggerfall on... Is it called DOSBox? That was actually the very first way I played Daggerfall like 2 years ago, but I only played it for like 5 hours or something, and then I realized there's the Unity version, then I swapped to that one. But yeah, I can't really remember the difference in the view distance like that off the top of my head. I just didn't play enough of the OG Daggerfall to remember now, but yeah, I think even in general, people do find it kind of disorienting, the original skybox. Some people, at least, I've seen comments like that. I used to use the old skyboxes, so I'd get a lot of comments from people saying like, oh, why don't you use a modded sky? And I was just like, you know, I kind of like the way it looks back then. I still like the way it looks, but I just prefer dynamic skies now. Agreed, I think nothing sets atmosphere like music and sound. There are far more important elements in graphics. Yeah, I think so too. Especially music. It's crazy how far music can carry a scene like this. But I do think a big part of the beauty here is Daggerfall's aesthetic as well for me personally. But I love this song in Daggerfall. Dustbox Daggerfall is buggy. Yeah, I've heard that too. I heard Unity is... I mean, I've never really had a bug in Unity that wasn't from a mod. So Unity is just so stable, it's insane. Especially from what I've heard about the original Daggerfall with how buggy it was. It's kind of incredible how good Unity is. Yeah, I think I only get bugs when it's related to some kind of mod issue. Have you checked out the first-person lighting mod? That horse looks really jarring against the dark. Oh, actually, I have not. That's interesting. I could, of course, I could just put on a... Actually, can I? Would that even help if I add a light source here? Yeah, I guess it helps a little bit, the light source. But yeah, I didn't have my lantern on, so that might have been why. But I didn't even know there was a first-person lighting mod like that. It's interesting. You know, I'll do the Thunderstrike spell you spoke of, but I have to think about if it's an only outside spell for changes its form inside. You said it's your favorite spell. Yeah. In Neverwinter Nights, it's called Call Lightning. I guess all D&D, all the older D&Ds called it Call Lightning. And to give you an idea of how it would work, it's basically I would choose... Well, I guess you can't really do that in Daggerfall, so... It could either be area of effect from the caster, so kind of like those Nova spells that already exist in this game that might capture it best, but then I would want it to have like a super far range. And then you would just see every enemy getting struck by it. And I actually can accomplish this in the console commands. So it's definitely possible. If it's too large, though, it'll get kind of laggy as the game tries to, like, calculate every enemy that can be hit by it in range. Especially in dungeons, I think it'll go through walls at a large enough range, so... yeah, it could be restricted to outdoors only. It definitely makes sense. In Neverwinter Nights, Call Lightning is an outdoor-only spell, so... It could make sense. But I don't know, I feel like that's so specific for me. I wonder if other people like making restrictions like that in their playthroughs. They might not like it. But, yeah, that's a great spell for druids. But I think being designed as area of effect from the caster is maybe the best way to represent it in Daggerfall. The Diam mods seem interesting, but I also won't install them because I like the OG music so much. Kind of the same situation as with Skyboxes. I don't think you have the Diam mods, though. I'm actually not familiar with them off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't use any mods that change the music in this game. I love Daggerfall soundtrack. That's like the last thing I would think about modding for me personally. I think there's good enough variation in this game where you hear the themes often, but not too often. And basically, I like all of them. The only one I don't like, and it's not really the song itself, it's just because it's so much louder than other songs, is one of the town themes. I've mentioned it in a couple of my Let's Plays, but whenever that song comes on in town, I actually have to edit it when I'm recording the video. Oh, where did this guy come from? Yeah, I actually have to go back into like the editing and lower just that part of the audio whenever it plays. I'm partial to Fireballs. Yeah, Fireball's a classic as well. Fireball is also really nice with the spell absorption, of course. That's the classic OP build. But yeah, Fireball has a really satisfying sound in this game as well. I think this will be the location that we choose, though. I think this region makes the most sense. It's a kind of like a haunted area with a lot of undead. We have specific dungeons that are custom and that really work well for the concept of cleansing unnatural forces. And we can do... what's it called? I forgot who mentioned it in the chat now. But we can focus on specific dungeon types and try to clear all those in the playthrough. And then I'll do my really cool finale that I have planned that I'm keeping secret for the last episode. But I'll have to just make a note of all the locations then, and then I think we'll just give the Druid access to that information in the playthrough because it makes sense that I would know the location of the one region I protect. So I think that'll work role-playing wise. Yeah, the music is dreamy, almost Enya-like. Oh yeah, I could definitely feel that. It is very atmospheric, especially this one song right here. It's just fun to cast, yeah, absolutely. Fireball's a classic. It's a pack for the dynamic music mod. It has 2 versions, one with ambience only and one with music only. You can put them together though, the music isn't the OG one though. Oh, interesting. So there are just some sort of ambient sounds. The ambient sounds kind of like animal noises or something like that, or like town people. Because I do think a mod like that added like, I guess it would be like townspeople walking and townspeople talking. That could be kind of cool in the background for cities. Add a little atmosphere. It's also a third mod that adds sounds to a bunch of flats, but I think that one is completely separate. I might install that one. Oh, that's interesting. That's probably like in taverns, like taverns talking or NPCs talking or coughing or maybe eating food or something like that, maybe. Star Control 2 had a good ambient music. Is that a game also? I don't think I've heard of a Star Control series. It's a sci-fi game set in space. Gotcha. Is that an older game as well? Old game, yeah. All right, so I got a decent amount of notes here for the Druid. I think this is what we're going to go with, though. We're going to choose this region. We got the general game plan. There's a couple other things I want to think about. I want to think about more restrictions that I can do, and maybe armor mods I can take a look at again, or clothing mods even. I really like ambient sound mods. For Minecraft, I use a lot of them. They add so much immersion. Yeah, I really didn't think about that before. I really should take a look at some of those, especially ones for towns. I think that would be really good for me, a good fit for myself. I like taverns to sound active and, you know, like maybe like the clattering of like dishware and like utensils, or like people eating or hanging out, or like background chatter, I guess is how I could put it. But I think it's kind of hard to capture that well. Sometimes it could be a little bit too distracting maybe, but I don't spend too much time in taverns anyway, so it wouldn't be that big a deal. I think that would be a cool mod for me. Old but good. UQM is the source port. It's to Star Control 2, that Daggerfall Unity is to Daggerfall. It's also free. Interesting. I've never heard of this game before, actually. Overall immersion is very important to me. I want to make a mod that adds books that have the info, a lot of the unofficial Elder Scrolls... What is that called? UESP. That's the unofficial Elder Scrolls portal, or something like that. Pages I frequent have. I asked on mod coding how to add books and got a guide, but didn't explain what needs to be done in one of those files. I gotcha, yeah. Yeah, modding is... I don't know anything about modding, unfortunately. I wish I did. At least, like, a little bit. It would be nice to have some general knowledge about it. Immersion important for enjoyment? Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge part of why I love Daggerfall. Yo, check out these sheep. Oh man, I don't see this often in towns. Or villages, I guess this is. Just hanging out. It would be really cool, though. Like, imagine just coming to this tavern, and then you walk in. I guess there's not that many NPCs in here, but if you could hear, like, idle chatter conversation in the background, that would be nice. Or, like, I don't know, as you get closer to a bard flat, maybe it starts, you could hear the music or something. It's an interesting tavern, by the way, as well. But this is kind of barren. I also wonder if there's a mod to make these taverns more populated. That'd be kind of cool, too. Alright, I'm pretty happy with how we scouted out this Druid playthrough, though. I think we'll probably record the first episode this week, then. I'm also going to stream tomorrow, but I'll probably do the roguelike mode tomorrow. And I'll take, like, viewer requests for the classes to play. That'll be fun. In tomorrow's stream, we'll check out the Abyssal Dungeons. I've not shown that on stream yet. Actually, I haven't even done it myself. Because I didn't realize that I needed the... I didn't realize it was like a separate mod from the roguelike mode. So now I have it set up properly, so we'll probably do that in the next stream. Do you still hear the lambs, Clarice? I don't understand the reference, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's probably the plan. Maybe we'll do that. So I think I'll probably end the stream here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. This is always fun. I really like doing these live streams. It's always fun talking to you guys. Hanging out. And I think we got most of what I want to do with this Druid playthrough figured out now. There's some good suggestions from you guys, so I appreciate that too. That's going to help me out. And yeah, I think we'll call it here. Tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stream again. I'm going to try and fix the Twitch issue. If you do, by the way, use Twitch as well. It's Shpan_ if you want to follow me there. Definitely would appreciate that as well. I'm going to try the dual stream tomorrow. And, yeah. Hopefully I can get that crazy looping, what's it called? Alert to not happen anymore. I just got to find where that is in my Streamlabs settings. And I can turn that off and we'll be good. And then also, we'll just do the roguelike mode. That sounds good for tomorrow. Adding book scenes very simple, but the guide just said that the specific file needs to be the binary file of the book. Guide didn't say what that means. I checked the file on a book mod I have. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to... I mean, I guess I could always just spawn the books in game, but it would be kind of nice to be able to read them outside as well. I saw the sheep, so it reminded me of the movie reference. Oh, yeah. Thanks, take care. Take care, inonera. How can I pronounce your name better? Inonera. Am I saying it wrong? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But my text editor can't read some of the symbols, so I still don't actually know. Interesting. Yeah, I would like to maybe dip my toes a little bit in some modding and learning just the basics like that kind of stuff. But, yeah. That would be, I mean, that'd be a really cool mod, though. I mean, could you imagine a mod like that? It'd be so useful for newer players as well. Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think we'll call it there. Oh, it's actually, as you spell, some people call me Eno only. Okay, that's much easier for me. Thanks. Yeah, I want to make sure I get the names right. If I'm, by the way, to anyone else in the chat as well, if I'm mispronouncing your name a bunch of times constantly, definitely let me know. So I can correct that. It doesn't, you know, feel free to correct me. That doesn't bother me at all. I want to get the names right, so. Eno is very easy for me. That's good. All right. I think this is a good place to stop. We're going to kill the stream here. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. And yeah, I hope I'll see you tomorrow. It'll be the same time, 12 p.m. probably again, around that time. And hopefully I'll have the Twitch stream fixed. And yeah, I'll see you then. Take care, guys.